number 7 in the country. 2 years. I mean, how gratifying is it for you? You know, just I'm a kid from New York. You're a kid from New York. You know, we've been talking about 20 years, and I always, you know, you were like an idol of mine growing up, and I wanted to be Rick Pitino, and now you're back here in New York and number 7 in the country. How do you feel?
You know, to see the way the student body's reacting, the St. John's fans, the Subway alumni, Madison Square Garden being packed, but we've taken a different approach. I said, it's going to happen for you guys, but just take it one day, one practice, one possession at a time, and you'll see good things happen. Did I expect to be number 7 on top of the Big East? Probably not. I thought that would take more time. I thought the Garden being packed would take more time. But at 72, I'm glad it's happened earlier.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I said the other day, I said, you know, at the beginning of the year, this started like a little St. John story, and it was good for the school. And then all of a sudden, you started packing the Garden. It was like, oh my God, this is a New York story, you know, and now it's a national story. I mean, I see you on ESPN. They're talking about the team on every podcast, every sports platform. I mean, it's a national story right now. I mean,
I think Zuby's been on the back page of the New York Post more than Jalen Brunson.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's got to be, I mean, for someone who grew up here, went to this school, you know, I came to this school because 1985 I was in Holy Cross High School, and I saw Chris Mullen, and I saw Walter Berry, and I saw Lou Carnesecca on the sideline, and I sat in the blue seats, last row. Now I'm sitting in the front row next to you, which is a better seat. But to see this 40 years later at a level that I've never seen it at, I mean, Coach, I mean, listen, I'm not afraid to say that, like, what you're doing is this, with your incredible career, you can't get into the Hall of Fame twice, can you? I mean, how big is this for you?
Well, it's gratifying for a number of reasons. St. John's is a school that's a lot different than Kentucky, Louisville, even Providence. St. John's students are on financial aid. Their parents can't afford a whole lot. They have second jobs. So for them to be proud of their university like this means a lot to me inside. The basketball part, the players, they're feeling great. The people working here are feeling great. The people here working don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's gratifying on so many different paths of life.
Yeah.
And that's unbelievable feeling inside.
Yeah, I mean, what it starts with you, what you've done and this team has done for New York City is amazing. I mean, you guys, people are now waiting for Wednesday night for Butler, Seton Hall on Saturday. When's the schedule? Well, you know, I mean, this is a city that's changed a lot since me and you have grown up here or have been here. And it almost kind of like, this is a great, I mean, people are fired up. I'm sure, like, when you go out there, it's a little different than you did 2 years ago, right?
It is, but understand this is a team, and you're a big part of this team, because I wouldn't have taken this job without you. There's no doubt in my mind why people can become successful. You have to have a great team around you to be successful. If I'm going out every single night trying to raise, this money, I can't survive in this business. But you were a big part. You were the impetus for taking the job. We had to have you on our team. And then we had to get the players, obviously, and you have to evaluate the players, because right now the Mets signed Soto.
Yeah.
And he's a great player, great talent. I was rooting for him with the Yankees. If they don't do great, you don't know. A better analogy would be the Philadelphia 76ers signing Embiid, George, and they're saying it's a franchise that's falling apart. So you got to do your evaluating. You got to make sure you sign the right players, and then it's got to come from the top. Your president has got to be behind you.
Yeah.
You've been involved with St. John's where the presidents were difficult, and now you got a president that's behind St. John's all the way. You got a chairman that's behind it, and now you're a focal point of St. John's basketball. So we're all on a great team right now, going the right way.
Yeah, no, it has been great, but you talk to the players a lot about adversity, and I just talked about adversity. I mean, no matter how successful you are, people have to realize there's highs and lows in everything in life, personally, financially, professionally. And, like when I saw you win at Kentucky, you got the 7 Final Fours, and I saw you win at Louisville, and we would see each other at the Kentucky Derby. I so admired the time you took away from the game. I so admired that you went to Greece to coach and you won championships there, and then you went to Iona. And how does it feel now? Like, I mean, being older, 15 grandchildren, by the way, 14, one on the way. And when was the last time you had a team ranked number 7 in the country?
At Louisville, obviously.
Yeah.
But, Iona was the reason I'm at St. John's, because the AD and the president flew to Madrid when I was coaching Real Madrid against Panathinaikos and said, we want you to come back home. And at first I said, I really don't want to coach it in the MAC. So I owe a lot to them.
Yeah.
Because I came back, I thought it would be my last job. When St. John's opened, and the first thing I had to do is get you back with the university. That's the first thing. Yeah. And now everything's happened the right way. You're back with the university, speaking to the business schools, speaking to the students, giving them the intel they need to be successful. You're involved with us. You don't ask for anything back, which very easily you could, but you ask for nothing. You don't find alumni like that, because I've been at Kentucky and been at Louisville, and you don't find people like Mike Repole. So it's great.
Yeah, I want to let you know that you've already given me back more than you can understand. Being at the Garden yesterday with my wife Maria and my daughter Joya, and just watching you and watching your team play like this, and looking around and seeing 19,800 fans. That's the biggest gift I can ever have. I mean, it's like, it feels like 1985 again. I got my childhood friends that were sitting in the first and second row when we sat up in the blue seats. They used to be the blue seats. But I mean, I might be giving, but I'm getting a lot more from you and what you do. And you motivate me. I mean, there's very few people who inspire and motivate me. And I push myself, and I know you push yourself. But when I see what you're doing at 72, I feel lazy at 55. You make me feel lazy. And I mean, it's just, you have an incredible gift of inspiring, one player at a time. But if you don't come to St. John's, I don't have a relationship with the school. And you brought me and the university together. So in a way, you said, oh, I came for you, but if you didn't come, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be talking to the business school. I wouldn't have a relationship with Father Shanley, who's done an amazing job, and Bill Janacek and Joel Lever, so it's amazing, because I love talking to you, because I think internally we're very similar, and it means a lot every time you say something like that.
Well, we're building a brand, and it takes time to build a brand. This is a great season, but we want to be great seasons. We want to build a brand. So when I leave someday, whoever my successor is, he sees greatness everywhere. And he says, St. John's is a great job. Nobody really wants to coach at St. John's prior to this.
Yes.
When I leave, everybody's going to want this job. And I don't say because of me. It's because of the brand we're building.
Yeah. Well, and it starts with the ultimate brand builder, you. And, I've built brands my whole life. But to me, it's always people first, then the brand. With the old people, St. John's had a tough brand. You bring in the new energy and the new people who bring in the players with the right administration, and the brand changes. Usually not within 2 years like you did, but it's just so important that brands can come back. St. John's was a great brand. It was a great brand when you grew up. It was a great brand when I grew up. And it lost its way the last 25 years. And for you and your team, and you're right, it's everybody. And we're all, I know you're so happy for me, which means so much to me, but I'm so happy for you. And it's a beautiful story.
It is on a number of fronts, but when you watch Zuby, here's a guy that didn't get any playing time at Kansas. Everybody thought he was a little overrated. When I spoke to Bill Self about him, I said, what am I getting? A great kid who's going to work hard, but has so many limitations. Doesn't shoot real well, doesn't understand the game real well, but he's a great guy. And now to see him be relentless, every single missed shot is a chance for him to get a rebound.
It is.
And he shoots the 3 now. He's a great captain. In the timeout against Connecticut, when they cut it to 9, I was saying, look, we're not wilting. We're not going away. We've been there before. Zuby interrupted me and says, we've been through this every single game. This is going the other way. We're stopping this run right now. And that made me so proud that he could take that moment, speak up as a captain, and motivate those guys, because they hear it from me, but to hear from the captain It's like Willis Reed speaking at a much higher level, Willis, but speaking for St. John's.
And it went from 9 to 18,
Yep.
and that was it. But, you know, the one thing I'm doing with NOBULL now is you've always had a platform with kids and you public speak. And I've always like focused on my family, which is my 400 employees at Vitamotor, my 600 employees at Body Armor, and people that have worked inside my company. The one thing with NOBULL is it's about a no bullshit personality and a no bullshit lifestyle and a no bullshit mentality. And obviously, like, I watch you talk to the team. I watch you address people like it's direct, it's real, it's authentic, it's genuine. We've lost that as a community. Everybody either fakes it or pretends. And I think that just this incredible, documentary that you're doing right now, I got everybody talking to me like the incredible speech you made that went viral. If it was 20 years ago, I think people would have said it's just another speech. And now it just stands out because the way you're coaching these kids and the way you're pushing these kids, I don't know if we push kids. I don't know if teachers teach the way they should, or parents parent, or coaches coach, or police police. Like how do we turn this around to the Rick Pitino no bullshit mentality?
I think love when love and discipline come together, you got great chemistry. Yeah. One without the other is no good. If you have a spoiled child without discipline, you're not going to have a mature child someday. He's not going to grow up into a mature adult. So you've got to have love and discipline. When they come together, I love the way my Kentucky guys, my Louisville guys speak about me today. It's like the tough teacher in the classroom.
Yes.
They embellish the stories, but that's a good thing. Yesterday's game I had Travis Ford from Kentucky. I had the Louisville football coach come in before the game.
Yes.
I had Luke Hancock, my most valuable player, outstanding player with the Louisville championship. And they all identify with what the St. John's kids are doing. And that's a great thing because time, yes, I had to adjust with the NIL, with the portal, but the fundamentals and the discipline and the love do not change. Yeah. I refuse to change. Yeah. My way of coaching, my way of making men into men. And that's not going to change. And these kids from St. John's are going to move on, and they're going to really appreciate what St. John's and the coaching staff has done for them.
Yeah. No, I love what you said. You said, I can talk to these kids as a group and not single them out in front of each other. One-on-one, I can do that. But when you talk to them as a group, you can be tough on them. Yeah. And I've always said, I tell my daughter, Joya, I always love you. And when I'm mad at you and I yelling at you or I punish you, I love you more. And the reason why I have to do that is because I have to teach you. And that tough love is a very important piece. That's, we all want better for the future generations, but easier is not better.
No.
And you're not making it easier, and they're getting a lot better. And how do we instill that? Because it's an art. And I bet you the 42-year-old coach is afraid to coach the way you are. But so he's not giving him their best, and the players are not getting their best because there's, oh my God, I'm playing for the contract. The way you're doing it is just it's old school greatness. I mean, I call you Michelangelo, I call you Picasso. I mean,
and you have to really master what I call the art of communication. I made a gigantic mistake getting ready we won 30 straight games at Madison Square Garden with the Knicks. Bill Cartwright doesn't show up at Uppsala College for the shoot around. Said his stomach's upset. He's got a bad case of a bad stomach, as you could imagine. And the trainer tells me he can't make it. I said, well, get him into the Garden. Go to Lenox Hill Hospital, see Dr. Scott, get a shot of Phenergan. We need him. We're going to snap the Celtic record of 31 straight home games. So get him in there. But by mastering the art of communication, I should have delivered the message this way. Hey, Bill, do me a favor, Mr. Bill. I call him Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, get in, see Dr. Scott. You're so valuable to this team. You got to get a shot of Phenergan so it eases your stomach. Get in there. You're so valuable, son. Get in there. We got to have you tonight. Instead, I tell the trainer, get him in. And the trainer gives this message. Hey, Bill, coach wants you in there. He wants you to get a shot. He's got to have you tonight for the game. But the message was, he doesn't believe you're sick.
Yeah. Yes.
In Bill's mind.
Yes.
Doesn't believe you're sick. Doesn't talk to me for 8 days. Finally, I go into him and I said, what's wrong? He said, well, you didn't believe I was sick. You thought I was just trying to miss walkthrough. I said, that's not what I said. I said, you're so valuable, I had to have you. I should have delivered the
Yes.
message myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always learned. Don't send an assistant coach to give the message. Like today, I met with Sim Wilshire
Yep.
about body language, and I met with Aaron about deflating when he misses a shot,
Yeah.
and getting worried about missing a shot. So you've got to be your own messenger.
Yeah.
And I make that mistake from time to time. And Bill Cartwright taught me never to make that mistake again.
Yeah, but you know what you just said is so important for this generation, because you know how people communicate now? Text, Snapchat, or email. So if you think a message from one person to another can get lost, a text can get lost in translation, an email can get lost in translation. And I think that's nobody picks up the phone anymore. Nobody picks up the phone to hear a voice or hear the tone of the conversation or hear what. I mean, I could send a text message and mean it in the nicest way, and people can misread it. They could misread it on what type of day they're having.
Yep.
So that point is a beautiful point, you know. And Coach, you have such a. I mean, you're an inspiration. Just like I said, I always want to inspire my teams, my companies. You know, you do it. You know, I mean, these basketball players that love you to death. You know, you said something, these Kentucky guys talk and they embellish the stories. I'm not going to disagree with you, but they're telling the stories back as what a 20-year-old saw when you were 50. For them, that's the story. That's the way they took the story. You delivered it your way. You know what you meant, but they took it maybe even bigger than you took, which is a beautiful thing. And I know you don't lose sight of that, but the impact you have on these kids is 0%, I'll say 1% basketball. 1% and 99% life. How do you, me, even NOBULL, like how do we change this? Because everyone needs Coach Pitino in their life. They do. Everybody needs a Mike Repole in their life. Someone who loves them unconditionally, but is going to be tough on them. Because at the end of the day, you can only challenge someone to be great if they aspire to be great.
Yeah.
We can't inspire and motivate someone who's not aspired. Hey, you can't. These players have gotten better because they want to get better. You have pushed them to get better, but they've put the work in the gym, they've made the shots, and they took that tough love that you've given them. How do we take this to another generation that's bigger than basketball, that's even bigger than business? And the art that you have on getting people to be greater than they are is an amazing gift. And I think, I know you've made them better fathers, better husbands, better brothers, better kids, better, you know, it's just amazing. And I hope, you know, you always say, I want to get, you know, I don't ask for anything. You know what? I hope when I'm 72, I got a 55-year-old guy telling me this, because you're making such an impact on me and you're making a bigger impact on these kids. And I want you to know that. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we need to bottle that and figure out how to get that to the masses.
No question. Demanding excellence is something kids don't really want to reach their potential. They say they do, but you mentioned Kobe Bryant. You know, he calls it the Mamba mentality. He wants to make things epic. We need so much more of that.
Yes.
We don't want fool's gold, and we don't want a mirage. We want them to put the work in like Kobe did.
Yes.
Because he put the work in.
That's the key.
If it was kickboxing in the summer, trying to get quicker, whatever it may be. That's why he didn't get along with Shaq, because
Yes.
Shaq was not
Lazy.
a guy. And by the way, Embiid is that way.
Yeah.
And he had a run-in with Maxey about, you know, showing up late and showing up on time. You know, we want guys to show up early, show prepared, be ready to demand excellence of yourself. Don't just make it Coach P or Coach Bob Walsh or Coach Ricky Johns or Coach Steve Masiello. It's demanding excellence of yourself.
Yeah. It's so important, because right now, and I found out a little later in life, I don't know about you, at the end of the day, I don't know if I was in my late 30s or 40s, you look at people that are successful in life and you look at people that are doing some great things. The biggest motivator in my life, and the person who pushes me the most, is me. And I'm sure, you know, as tough as you are on your players, you're probably tougher on yourself than you are on them. If I was as tough on my teammates the way I am on me, they'd be miserable. Like, so how do we get people, you say they push themselves to what their limit. They push themselves to what they think their limit is. not what it really is.
That's a great point.
They have a low bar for themselves.
Yeah, no question.
A low bar. And then their comparison is, well, I would say, hey, you didn't do good on that test. I did better than my friends. Oh, that makes it go okay? It's more about how did I do versus everybody else? And that's where I want to take it. And then having a low bar so I can feel good about myself. I mean, I got this here. I'm 55 years old. I suck every day. I suck. I need to be better every day. My goal is to suck less every day. I'm sure I watch you watch film on those guys. I mean, you probably found every single mistake, even though you won by almost 20 points.
Well, we show it to them. But you have two people in your life. It's very interesting because it's nothing to do with our relationship. Kobe Bryant and Tom Brady. So before the game, we have Byron, who was the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady with the Tampa Bay.
Okay.
He tells me a story that Bruce Arians, Tom Brady said, I was thinking of doing it this way when he made the mistake, and Arians cut him off and said, don't be doing it any way except my way. I said, he said that to Tom Brady? He says he did. I said, how did Tom react? He said, I got you, coach. And here he is, the GOAT.
Yes.
He's won all the championships.
Yes.
And he's taking hard coaching.
Yes.
I said, did he really say it that way? So what did I do? I showed them a clip of Tom Brady saying no excuses with a lot of bad language. I don't know if you saw the clips I'm talking about. And here I send them at least 15 Kobe Bryant clips this year. And at least now I'm showing them Tom Brady clips. And you have a relationship with both of those guys. And there's no reason that I'm showing because of my relationship with you, but I'm showing it because those two guys are such great winners that didn't take losing or not working hard enough as an excuse.
No.
Because excuses are a sign of weakness when you make the excuses.
They demanded excellence on themselves at a higher level. Tom Brady is the only guy for 20 years that could be coached by Bill Belichick as hard as he did and not just walk away. And when Tom Brady took Bill Belichick's toughness for 20 years, if you're another player and Tom's taking it, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
20 years. And nobody could have done that for 20 years. I mean, people play with you 3-4 years. That's got to be pretty tough. Imagine someone playing you for 20 years, right? And doing it the same way.
And I know Tom, for a fact, is going to like Bill Belichick every year of his life more.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
When he was playing at Tampa and I started spending time with him, he told me he was really tough. And now, but Belichick is now saying things that he never said, like, hey, Tom, I love you.
They should change the trophy after Brady trophy, right?
Yeah, it is beautiful. And then Kobe, you're absolutely right. For him to be 19, 20 years old and go up to Shaq, the veteran, after they won 3 championships and say, you're lazy and you're not working hard enough and almost fight with Shaq. Well, what rookie would do that? But you know what? He wanted excellence. He wanted to win 10 championships. And you do it you do it that way. And, we're happy, but we're not content. And it is so important for me to sit there and watch you enjoy this. And whether it's with your sons or your grandchildren or your wife, I just, one of the reasons when you say I don't ask for anything is I feel like I know you and I know how tough you are. When you're texting me at 3:25 in the morning after the Creighton game, it's one of the nicest texts I've ever got in my life. And you said, Mike, I'm just so excited. I can't sleep. I'm so pumped up. The garden was packed. It was so special. You were there in spirit, and it was so fulfilling for me. And I know you want me to be happy, and I want you to be happy. And I'm helping you with your happiness, and you're helping me with my happiness. And I think that's why it's really working, but it's also what we do for other people.
Yeah.
We want them to get what they want, and in turn, we'll get what we want. So
Well,
appreciate everything you do, Coach.